It's time for the Hab-Normals podcast. All Habs, all the time. It's Hab-Normals time. Wake up, guys.
I'm up. Hockey, Hab, scored, shoot, hey, guys.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to Hab-Normals, episode number 24. And it's hard. It's not that it's hard to believe, because I hate when people say that. But, man, that went pretty fast so far. 24 episodes, and then all the ones we missed. We've been doing this for a while now. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed that. We've got an interesting lineup of topics to talk about tonight. Just give you a quick overview of that. We're going to talk about the Habs players. There's 4 of them in the organization that are at the World Championships. We got Cole Caulfield, Caden Gooley, Juraj Slafkovsky, and Oliver Kapanen, which is a name you guys should get familiar with, I guess, because Oliver Kapanen is one of those guys, a draft pick from how many years ago now? 3 years now?
Yeah. No,
okay. Something like that. He's really playing well. He has been playing well since they picked him. I believe they just inked him to an ELC recently. And there's a really good possibility, in my opinion, that he could make the team out of camp. So get used to that name, because we might be seeing him a lot. We're going to talk about him a little bit. But the problem is, like a lot of you out there, we don't know that much yet about Oliver Kapanen. So this is kind of like an introduction to him. So we're going to talk about him. We're going to talk about the number 5 pick and our opinions. And the funny thing here is we all are in agreement here about what the pick might be. We're going to talk about that a little bit. We are going to just briefly touch on Arbor Jackeye and the fact that he needs to be signed. And I would say soon, because I believe it's July 2nd, and July 2nd offer sheets can roll in. I think they're going to sign him soon. So I don't think that's a problem. But we're going to talk about what his contract might look like. I think we talked about this before. I'm not sure. Did we?
Well, no,
I'm pretty sure we have.
We're just going to revisit it a little bit. Like I said, it's going to be brief anyway. So just to refresh our memories on that. We'll probably get into a little bit more about Oliver Kapanen as far as not the World Juniors, but what we might know about him and what to expect from him, basically. We are going to talk about a couple of rumors that are out there for the Habs in the offseason. One of them is Martin Necas, who is he's a UFA, right? He's going to be a free agent. And apparently Habs are one of the teams in on him. So we'll talk about that. And then heard an interesting rumor today. I can't remember who it's from, saying it wasn't really a rumor, but saying that the target he would make for the Habs in the UFA market would be Sam Bennett of the Panthers. So we're going to give that a little go over. And that's what we're going to talk about. So let's lead off with the World Championships. I have not seen any of them. I've seen highlights. But one thing I have seen, all 4 of the Montreal players that are in that tournament, and I'm not sure about Kapanen, but has he gotten player of the game? But they've all gotten player of the game. Slav, Caden Gooley, and Cole Caulfield twice now, and I think even Slav might have been twice. They're performing at the World Championships, which not only now do we have players there, but they're performing, and they're some of the best players at the tournament for their teams. And this is something that's really kind of new, that we have to get used to the fact that, it's one of those signs that Montreal's going to be a good fucking team, right? Is having those draft picks show up well wherever they're playing in any tournaments. And also the fact that these 4 guys are there. It's a big tournament representing their country. Mm-hmm. They stepped up. So that's a guy in the playoffs performing. It's the same idea, right?
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely, yeah.
About what I just said. Okay, nobody at first, eh?
Harry,
lead off. Harry, lead off.
All right. I mean, I haven't seen much at all. I've looked up stats. The game started at like 6 a.m, and that's the time I'm usually sleeping. So
highlights, right?
Yeah, I've seen a couple highlights. I've seen that the players, some of the guys have been player of the game, which you love to see. And like you said, these guys are guys that they're clearly playing to win. I think they love the pressure. At least we know that Caulfield and Slav love that pressure. Don't really know too much if Gouli likes being under pressure. I'm assuming he does if he's
I
in
would think so. I
Montreal.
mean, he steps up in those big games,
That
and
is
he was
true,
player
yeah.
of the game early. I don't know if it's once or
Yeah.
twice already, but
Yeah,
they might
I
have
know
all had. Gouli,
they
I
just
know
got
for
done
sure
with the.
was.
Yeah, he's all, like you said, all of them at least once, maybe not Kapanen, but I know that as well. Caulfield just had a 4-point game, 2 goals, 2 assists.
Yep.
I think it was last night in the last game for the preliminaries. I believe they're just about to get into the actual.
Right.
I guess
Is that what it is?
Playoffs.
Right, the tournament, because 2 Boston players are going over. I read today. So
Yeah, they're just going over now. Yeah.
Yeah, the actual tournament is just starting. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's why like a lot of these players, like you've probably heard like, oh, there's like 7 games going on. They're all preliminaries just to get guys basically acquainted to each other. But the guys have been playing great for the Canadians. Yeah, basically the preseason. Yeah. I'm very happy about this. I mean, you talked about this I think last year, Rick, probably Montembeault, and I know we've talked about him recently because of his performance at the World Juniors. He ended up playing very well for the Habs in the regular season for the most part, and I think that would be something this year where Slav, I think, really we've seen his evolution into an elite first line winger already. He's continued that evolution at the World Championships from what I've seen. Caulfield, he's looking like he's fully healed basically from that shoulder surgery at this point.
Oh, yeah.
Like he's making good 2-way plays. And Oliver Kapanen, we're going to talk about him in a little while.
Cappy's leading the world right now in goals.
I think so, right. In the preseason, he's leading the preseason in goals, I believe. He was at least going into yesterday's games.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, let me see if I can find this.
I mean, I just looked at his stats, too, from this past season in the Finnish League, which, I mean, in terms of the European leagues, I mean, the Finnish League is no slouch.
He's performing.
He put up 34 points in 51 regular season games this year. Yep. For a 20-year-old center, I mean, I like that. Dead even plus minus, but I think his career plus minus is like plus 10 or something like that. So, two-way plays there. And he had 14 points in 13 playoff games. So he certainly seems like a kid that can rise to the occasion. And I like his size, 6'1", 185 pounds.
Yeah, he's not a small player. I think people do think that he is, and I don't know why, but he's not small. I mean, he's not overly large, but 6'1", that's absolutely fine.
6'1", 185, I think that's fine. That's more than fine.
Yeah, more than fine, yeah. And 185, he'll be 195 by the time, he's 22, 23. Probably something like that. So, no, good size and a good third line center. He's a center, I believe, right? Or is a winger? Yeah,
center
this guy
plays more center, natural center.
You're starting to hear talk about him. You know how they were talking about, it's going to be Beck for the third line center? It might not be. Kapanen looks like he might be more capable at that. I'm starting to hear Kapanen third line center, Beck fourth line maybe, or playing the wing on his line. Maybe we're talking about Kapanen.
I know Beck plays both of those positions too. So I mean that'd be fine. But yeah, no, I mean I like what I've seen out of Cappy. I love his stats. I love the size. I think the size is perfect. And he's only 20, so he's going to continue to get better. And I can only really imagine, how much better he's going to get under the tutelage of Marty St. Louis and the development here. I mean, like I said, the Finnish league is no slouch. I mean, it's a good league. Good teams in that league. The fact that he's a 20-year-old, put up 34 points in that league and was over a point a game in the playoffs or just at a point a game. I mean, I like that out of a 20-year-old kid.
I think Oliver Kapanen is a serious prospect.
I think so.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, he was a second-round pick in 2021. I feel like you have to consider him as a top prospect, especially at this point.
Yeah, no, and he's been performing ever since. It's not like this kid's had a good rise up to what I think might be the NHL this coming season.
Yeah, no, I think there's a really good chance that he could break camp with the club, and again, just in 2021, would that have been? That would have been a Bergevin pick, right?
Yep. I believe, because that was the same year as Mayu, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, his last season or second to last draft. I'm not sure if it's his last draft.
Logan Mayu, that was the Mayu draft. That was the that was the last draft for Bergevin.
No, that was a good pick, and he's proving
And I
out.
mean, like we've said, like Bergevin's had his fair share of good picks. Like
The last 2-3 years, because Trevor Timmons did the picking. Remember, they had decided to.
Yeah.
He like Trevor Timmons would do the picks, he'd do the contracts, like that kind of thing. So yeah, Trevor Timmons, when left to do the drafting, did a good job in the last 2-3 seasons because those players are here, and we're or about to get.
I mean,
here.
so how many times have we told the story about him slapping the phone out of Bergevin's hand so we can get Cole Caulfield? Like,
to get Caulfield, yeah.
But and again, it's just like another really good, certainly NHL caliber prospect in the system.
Yeah.
I mean, it's ridiculous at this point how many prospects of that type of caliber we have. Like, not that they're gonna be like top 6 elite forwards, but I mean, a majority of the prospects in the system are of NHL caliber that should be able to play NHL hockey at some point.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Which is your first 2 picks got to be NHL caliber at a minimum.
Absolutely,
right?
No, absolutely.
Or you've made a mistake. You're right. You missed if you didn't.
So Kapanen being the third, I think, is good.
Yeah, no, I think so too.
Without a doubt. And again, the first 2 drafts from Gordon and Hughes, I mean, their first, second, and third round picks, I mean, to me, are all NHL caliber, like without a doubt, like no questions asked. I mean, we've already seen Slav, Hudson's here now. And again, I mean,
we saw a bit of Beck.
Bishar and Beck still developing quite well, and
plenty of prospects. But we sidetracked. Let's not sidetrack more because I want to talk about each player at the World. Slav at the World. We're going to start with him. Well, we did Kapanen. We're not going to talk about him later. I think we did a good job about who. What do we know about Oliver Kapanen? I think we did that. So that's what we know right now. We're going to know more about this kid, I think, in the next 6 months. We're going to know a lot about him. Slav at the World Juniors. So I'm saying this. Maybe the most dominant player at the physically.
All the highlights I've seen, he's literally just doing things at will.
And physically
it's
too.
Scary.
Being a physical force. Out there and a leader on his team. And you know what? All I can say is I am looking forward to seeing how that is going to affect his season this coming. I think this kid's coming in chock full of confidence.
All hell.
A lot more confidence in what he can do. And then that physical confidence and mental confidence on the ice to be a leader and to stand up for his teammates and himself. I think we're going to see an even, not a totally different like we did last season from the first season, but we're going to see that improved guy that, taking that step up, like in all aspects of his game. I really do. I really like what I've seen in the highlights from him. He's having a good World preseason. I guess it's but still, I can't wait to see what he does in the actual tournament. Like, I'm really looking forward to that.
Me too.
Before I turn it over, they played Cole played early on in the preseason there. Slovakia beat them in overtime. This was he was asked what it feels like to beat his line mate and good friend Cole Caulfield. He said it was the best thing that happened. I love it, and I can cheer. And I can cheer for. Oh, I love it, and I can cheer for him now because he's beaten them. So it was interesting that they still have that competition. A competitiveness between them. So
I saw somewhere too, like Caulfield got asked what it was like trying to defend Slav, and he was like, "Yeah, I forgot he was 3 times my size."
For Slav, that's a big boy, man.
Oh yeah,
I'm so excited. I'm so excited for this season, man. We talked about it to good length during last season, but I mean, I really think like Slavkovsky's gonna be one of the best players in the NHL, and when he hits his prime, like it's ridiculous how good he is already, and I think I really do think he's gonna end up being the best player in that draft. He's gonna
be
trending in that direction. I think
he's gonna be worthy of that first overall pick.
Oh yeah,
without a
absolutely
doubt, in my mind, because I don't think he's hit. I mean, he's not even close to a ceiling yet.
which is scary, right? Like, how scary is that?
At 50 points, he's not close yet to his ceiling.
No.
No,
Maybe,
nowhere near it.
Maybe only halfway there. Like it's not I'm saying Slap's going to get 100 points because I'm not saying that with certainty, but I'm not ruling it out.
Not this year, at least.
No, but in his career. I'm talking about in his career. I'm not saying this season, but I'm not ruling out that he's a potential 100 point a year guy. Or
No, I don't think you can.
He'll get there.
And I honestly,
one time,
I love more than anything for him to hit 100 points before Mitch Cobb does. Just to fucking rub it in.
He will, bro.
That'd be hilarious.
I don't know if we can say that.
Second line.
And I don't really care, honestly.
No, I don't either. I just think it'd be hilarious. We can make fun of Alex.
What I'm thinking is, I know it's still sidetracking. I think it's possible we got a line that could produce 3 100-point players.
Absolutely. 1,000%.
Without a doubt.
That it's not often you get that. I think we had that here in the 70s, but I'm not even sure on that if all three Lafleur, Shutt, Lemaire, if they all got I don't know if they all did, but I think they did it. Lemaire might not have been 100 point, but I'm not sure. But I think potentially with these guys, they could hit that.
Jacques Lemaire never had a 100-point season.
Yeah, I didn't think Lemaire had 100 points, and I'm not even sure about Shutt, to be honest. But I know he had 60. I don't know what kind of assists he got. I can't remember. But in his 60,
Shutt had a 105-point year.
Yeah, okay, so there you go. So we had 2 out of 3. I think maybe we can get 3 out of 3. Maybe not every year, but I think there's going to be one year where those guys are maybe that Stanley Cup year, the next one we get that year.
Might be 1 or 2 years, honestly, where the 3 of them can all hit 100 plus. So yeah. Could be 1 or 2
I'm saying at least once.
Yeah.
Multiple, I don't know. We don't know. But I think
I think in 3 years, once you've got everybody in the lineup and everything is settled and you have 4 good lines you have to defend, you're going to see that line getting 100 points each.
Once you've got another line behind them, at least one more, right? That's dominant as well. They cannot shut down any line. They can't shut them down.
No.
Nope. Lane Hudson's on the back end now, too. I mean, quarterback in the power play too.
He's going to be there.
Yeah, Hudson's going to raise point. Okay, we're sidetracking again. No. Cole Caulfield. Cole Caulfield so far at the tournament. As we said, his last game, 2 points, 2 goals, 2 assists, player of the game. No, I want to say not. Matty Beniers, 1 goal, 1 assist was player of the game.
How does that make sense?
Yeah, didn't make sense. Somebody put it up on Twitter. I read that. I don't know 100% the validity of that. But he should have been. I know earlier in the tournament, Cole was player of the game in the preseason. Right after Slav got his. Then Cole got player. Caden Gooley got player of the game. All 3 of them got it early in the preseason. Anyways, having a great tournament. As Harry said earlier, I think it's signs that Cole's shoulder is starting to feel 100%.
Oh, yeah.
And you may say, the quality of the competition isn't the same, but I think that it is. And what do I mean by that? Not everybody in the NHL is great. Not every team has a full lineup of great players. So they play against teams in the NHL like this, where you got some great players and some teams have more great players than others. So I think this is a sign that his shoulder is starting to be there. And if you look at the timeline, it should be right about now that his shoulder should be feeling back to normal as before the injury.
Yeah.
And that can only be great for next season.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Well, you guys are exciting.
What more is there to say?
I don't know. I can do this alone.
I think Caulfield scoring 12 goals next year. It's not healed.
No, I'm just bugging you guys, but you guys can just take the night off. I'll do the pod.
All right.
Caden Gooley, did anybody see any? Harry's gonna leave. I know.
I haven't. No, I've been watching Slap.
Bye, Harry. Have a good one.
I've been watching
see if it's raining. But did anybody see Caden Gooley play at all? I didn't see any of it.
No, I've just been watching Slap highlights
either.
It's too bad, but I know he's having a good preseason. Okay, so not much to talk about there. Do we move on to the next subject? I'm the MC. I'm going to move on to the next subject. Montreal Canadiens have the number 5 pick at the draft. I highly doubt they move that pick.
No.
They're not trading it for anybody. They're not going to be able to move up. And I don't think they're going to move down because I think at number 5, one of the guys that they have in their list that they want is going to be available. So it kind of, I don't know that they'd move down. I wouldn't chance it. We were saying, I'm doing a video of draft hopes and a bunch of different people, interviews. We were talking about this in the interview. I think was it with you? No, with you, Matt, last night? We were talking about this and I totally lost it. Oh, yeah, this. From after Celebrini to mid-round, it's really, you can't really say this guy fits here. This guy is this.
That might have been with both of us.
A lot of mock drafts I've seen it been all over the friggin' place.
Yeah, like, it's kind of all over the place.
I've seen Demidov fall to us. I've seen it's just all over the place.
So if you really want a player,
a few of them, it's nuts after celebrating.
That's the exact example I was going to use.
If you really want a player, I don't know how you can be super confident to say, well, we can trade down and get that player there. I don't know that you can be confident in that. So if you have a target, you kind of want to keep your pick, especially when you're top 5, and get that player that you want. I think,
and I think that's partially part of the reason too why I said Iginla should be there, but again, it's just there's so much unknown.
Yeah, I think Iginla will be there. I think Iginla will be there.
Oh, speaking of which, we want Tij Iginla.
Yeah, but Tij Iginla will be there for the Habs if they want him at number 5.
Yeah,
I think we're all in agreement that we think that is the target, and we all are in agreement that that's the guy we all want.
Yeah.
Well, the only problem with this is the last 2 seasons we've been wrong, and I think we've also all been in agreement. I'm not sure about Harry, but me and Matt.
So, no, I wasn't in agreement on. I think it was Zach Benson a couple years ago. You guys wanted instead of Michkov, right? Was it Zach Benson?
We wanted Ryan Leonard.
Ryan
Leonard. Yeah, it was Ryan Leonard. I was a full on Michkov guy.
Right, you were the one that.
I mean, the year before that too.
You were the wrong one.
Rick and I both wanted Shane Wright, but I think at the end of the day, that draft, it really could have been any of those 3. Again, it wasn't a clear cut number 1. But
most Wright wasn't clear cut number 1 until the day of the draft.
We're very happy to be wrong.
Oh yeah, I'm very, very happy to be wrong as well. I was so happy when I did my draft lottery reaction that we were getting Shane Wright, and now I'm so goddamn happy we went with Slafkovsky instead.
Oh God,
because we end up with the better guy. We end up with legitimate top line talent.
Right, which is to make a point on this, depending on who they're going to pick, we got to trust in them because. I mean, they clearly got it right with Slav.
The only guy that I cannot trust management with, and it's not because they won't develop him properly, because I don't believe in him, is Beckett Senecki. He is a late riser because he's having a good playoffs or had a good playoffs. The Generals got destroyed by a good team in the finals, but Beckett Senecki, I don't believe in him. He's the only guy that I do not want the Canadiens to draft. I would rather they take. Who else? I'd rather them take Zim Bellium, the defenseman, before they take Beckett Senecki.
Bouillon.
Yeah, Bouillon. I mean, I don't need to know his name. I don't need to remember his name anyways. He's not going to get picked by Montreal. But
a problem of why that's not going to happen is he's also a left shot D. He's very much like Lane Hudson, and I don't know where you fit the two of them in.
I'd assume different lines, but again, they're not picking.
If they're picking a D, it's going to be a right.
Anton Silyev.
No, but he's left. He's a left shot D.
It's either right-handed D or Silyev. Those are the only D I can.
Well, I think it's Levchinov. It could be. I'm not sure how Prague shoot, but Prague is a high scorer.
Prague is the right shot defenseman, which is what terrifies the shit out of me.
But listen, Hughes has already said.
They're going for basically a forward.
No, and if not, and if they're really stuck, it would be a right shot D. He didn't mention anything about left. He mentioned a right shot D, right side defenseman.
Which I get.
If he's stuck, and he's not going to be because there's going to be top quality forwards available.
It's going to be one of Demidov, which he's not falling. Lindstrom, who very well will fall. Berkeley Catton, who I think he goes to the Ducks. Probably that's my hot take for the draft. Or we get TJ Gimmo.
I think Berkeley Catton's going to go in the top 4.
Yeah, I think that's going to be a big shocker. I'm doing a mock draft eventually, so I don't want to spoil everything, but I do think that he ends up getting picked by the Ducks.
It's funny. I had in my mock, I had Catton going to New Jersey.
Oh, speaking of the New Jersey Devils,
it's not
the news today.
Is it announced? Because
Sheldon Keefe is the next head coach of the Devils.
Okay, because it was in Cam's pod. They were talking about it, so I put in the private chat, he's going to the Devils. Then I went to look to confirm it, and there was no news about it. So I said,
but it just came out today. The Devils have officially hired him.
There you go. I was right.
Well, we can roll out the Devils in the playoffs next year.
I saw something yesterday. I thought it was New Jersey announcing they hired him. And it turned out, I don't know where I saw that.
Yeah, no, they didn't announce it yesterday. They announced it today.
It was a dream. I must have fallen asleep, and I was predicting it in my dream, and I'm right.
Mm-hmm.
Does that shock you guys? The New Jersey?
Yeah, it does. I thought they were going to go with that. I know Berube got hired by the Leafs, but I was expecting them to go with someone like Berube instead of
Keefe is not. That's for sure. Keefe is not.
No.
I love that clip of that. Like Keefe's speech before Game 7 and then Berube's speech.
I don't think it was it Game 7. I know I saw one from earlier in the series.
That was from Game 7 this past season. Go out and have fun with the boys. Berube's like, get the fuck out there and win the fucking cup, you fucks.
Yeah, and go have fun with it. Now you know why Toronto can't win the big game. Well, we're having fun. We're out here having fun. Fun. I mean, really? That's your coach? You're gonna.
And then Berube's like, let's fucking win the fucking cup. Let's fucking go.
Yeah, I mean, if Keefe gives the motivational speech, I'm not motivated even to put my skates on. Really? Yeah, I can't believe. Anyway, I can believe the Devils got him, but why? No, shake my head. And yet, people will tell you Cam will tell you he's a good coach.
Well, Cam's a Bruins fan. What does he know?
I don't get it.
Okay,
I've read shit. People think he's a good coach. Where? I don't know. Okay, enough. It's no more. Yeah. That's not Leaf bashing anymore. But to me, it is because he's forever going to be associated with that. All right, let's get back to this. Let's go over the guys that I think are there because I know we all kind of agree.
Yeah,
I think there's a slight possibility, and I gotta think it's really slight, that Demidov could be there still, because we don't know. I mean, we could be surprised that he actually drops down there.
Yeah, no, seriously. So, I mean, it's not out of the question.
It's not out of the question. Let's put it that way. It's not out of the question. Demidov, Caden Lindstrom, I kind of think will be there. If not, it's because Columbus picked him. I think Columbus picked Lindstrom.
Yeah.
Or Salayev. I think it's going to be Salayev or Lindstrom for Columbus. But so I think Lindstrom could be there. Iginla, I believe, will be there when they pick. I don't really see anybody picking him before, but it's not out of the question. I just don't think it will happen there. And then just to piss off Harry, but it's not. I really think that it is a possibility to go with Beckett-Senecki. Now,
Grant McCaig, I think it was who's saying that.
Why do I think that? It's nothing I know about him because I don't really know that much about him yet. But Grant McCaig is almost positive he should be the pick. He doesn't think Montreal will pick him, though. He's pretty sure they won't, but he believes he should be the pick there. It tells me that, the guy has to be in the conversation.
Yeah.
Grant's been good. So I'm going to say.
What position is he?
Hey, he's
right wing, I think.
Left wing. He's also a left wing. But I mean, this guy steps up in the playoffs. He's got the size. He's got the shot. I don't know. He sounds like
Nicole
a
Eiserman should
possibility.
be there too.
He's a possibility. I don't think it, but I'm not going to write him off. But and for me, it's a Ginla. Now, here's the reason why, and I think it's an interesting one, why I don't think they go for Lindstrom. Because I think if Demidov is there, I think that's a strong possibility they take Demidov.
Oh,
But
yeah.
I don't think Demidov is going to be there, like at all. So one of the reasons I don't think they take Lindstrom, I think a big part of it is the wrist injury and the back issues.
Back injury.
He missed half a season last year, so that's half a season of development. It's not the only thing. Slav and Doc, both power forwards, kind of bring the same thing that Lindstrom would bring here. So it could be a little too much of the same. If you have the same look on 2-3 lines, you're predictable.
Mhm.
And that's not a good thing. Even if Lindstrom's a great player, it's not a good thing. So if they pick Lindstrom, I'd say maybe they know something about Doc and being injury prone, or they've suspected that we don't know, and that's a backup. To me, that's the only reason they pick Lindstrom. Another reason is that they're the same, right? I'll read you what I wrote. No, I guess that is all I wrote. So I think they're
No, but
going for
I think
Ginla.
they are all literally, they're all 6'4", like 230 pounds.
It's the same look. It's the same look. And then if you're going to draft Lindstrom because you're not sure of Doc, but are you 100% sure of Lindstrom now with the injuries, right? We're not. So I think that writes him off.
Yeah, no, I
What do you
agree.
think?
I agree. And, I talked about this in our, when you interviewed me for the draft. And yeah, I just think for me, there's red flags there. And yeah, I just think he's more risk than reward right now. And I just think there's better players that are going to be available and players that they don't really have those like injury red flags, if that makes sense.
No, it does. I mean, it does. What do you think, Harry?
Yeah, no, I think Hayden Lindstrom, like you guys summed it up perfectly. The injury issues, I think, alone are what take him out of the consideration for number 5. I do think he ends up slipping. There's always in the draft, there's always one really high late riser, and there's always one guy who falls not necessarily really hard, but
I
think
don't
it was
think
Brad Lambert 2 years ago.
Yeah, I don't think he'll drop too far.
No, but Brad Lambert's a guy who
drop.
I think was projected 10th or so, and he fell to 29. Lindstrom's a guy I could see falling to the mid to late teens in this draft because of those injury concerns. I don't know if he will.
Late top 10, but I don't know about that far. But that's your that would be crazy. But there is always one guy that seems to do it.
To be fair, who saw Shane Wright slipping all the way to 4th in 2022? Nobody really did.
Or listen, last year Benson, didn't he go he went like out of the top 10, didn't he?
Yeah, Benson, I think
11 or 12, I think,
the
right?
Sabres.
13.
Yeah,
13th to the Sabres.
So there's one guy. So like Benson, I think that missing half a year of development and the questions of the injury, I can see that him dropping somewhere around 10, maybe a little farther, maybe just before. I could see that. I don't think he'll go much farther than that because, I mean, there's no doubt he's got a great upside. He's got great size, great shot. I did see this mentioned, and it would concern me a bit, is most of his goals are scored right around the net. His shot doesn't actually get him a lot of goals.
Who is this?
Lindstrom.
Oh, so he's the Gallagher guy.
Yeah, okay. He's a Gallagher guy, but, if that's the case, and then you're getting a big guy playing like that's already got a back issue, and a hand issue. I don't know.
And we see how many games Gallagher has missed on average.
And if you got another guy there that you really like, and maybe fits your team better, I'm going with.
You already have Luke Tuck for that role too.
Right. Don't forget, we have some guys.
That's Luke Tuck's game.
Yeah. So
his shot is not bad, but his game, and he's got the size. His game is get the pucks in the corner and parking it in front of the net, batting and rebounds. Like that's his game. And he did that a lot at VU, and he had a good season last year. And yeah, again, like if that's Kate Lindstrom's game, why do you use the 5th overall pick on him when you have a guy like Luke Tuck already on his ELC?
And then you have a guy like Iginla out there that gives you a really different look to your top 6.
Yeah.
Right?
No, you're exactly correct.
I think that's another big part of it. He gives you a different look, and I can't see him not checking all those boxes that they have. I really can't see him not.
No, I agree. I think he's probably the one guy too of those guys that I think that we can confidently say that about too. Like, I don't think there's any way he doesn't check all those boxes. Like,
yeah, he seems to have the character. He's got all that NHL.
I agree. I mean, he already knows how to be a pro. Obviously,
yeah, he's got that NHL makeup. You're getting a guy that's not going to be overwhelmed when he gets to the NHL. The daily grind, the flights, all that kind of stuff. He's not going to be overwhelmed by it.
Yeah.
Which, when you're thinking about in a rookie season, if you take that away, that kind of stuff, and he's not overwhelmed by that, he's going to have an even better rookie season potentially, because he's not that it's not in his way. You know what I mean? I'm not using the right word.
No, I agree. I totally get what you're saying.
So I think a lot of that is the reason why it's going to be a Iginla. Unless they feel a guy like Seneke has more, and we just don't know because we can't scout the guy. We don't, there may be a player that they actually like more. I just can't. I can't identify a player like that out there over Iginla right now.
Yeah, no, not at all. I
again,
as well with Tidge being the son of Jerome Iginla, or if I could pull up his full name real quick, Jerome Arthur Lee Atakundle Tig Jr. Elvis Iginla.
Excuse me?
That is his Jerome Arthur Lee Atakundle Tig Jr. Elvis Iginla.
I tell you, my ex-wife, she'd love the fact that he's got Elvis in there. She loves Elvis.
Oh, yeah, you said that. Yeah, Lou loves Elvis.
Oh, my God. She'd love this.
That's his full friggin' name?
That is Jerome Iginla's full name.
How many is that? He's got
it must take him half an hour to sign a contract.
Yeah. Seriously.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 names in his name.
That's crazy.
Because Arthur Lee is
his name. And he spells Jerome differently than everybody else's. J.
That is true. Yeah.
A lot of people don't do it right.
But yeah, with him being the son of Jerome Iginla, I had to bring it up because I have never seen anyone else mention that's his full name.
I've never heard that before. There's one in there. There's one of them that sounds like it's from the 1800s.
Atakundle.
Yeah, it's like one of those old. Yeah.
But yeah, with Tig being the son of Jerome, he knows that lifestyle. He knows what it takes to be in the NHL, and he's got one of the greatest role models I think he could have as a father and as a potential coach to bring him to the NHL, and then he'll have another great mentor with Marty behind the bench.
Yeah, I've heard I've read this a few different places that Jerome Iginla's kids all very mature, very they're just really good mature kids. Like I think like it just speaks for what Montreal's looking for.
And with the type of guy Jerome is, that doesn't shock me whatsoever.
Yeah,
that is
they're all very well brought up. People have. I've read this a few times. It's not just once, at how well raised these kids are, and how well prepared they are for the NHL.
Yeah, and I think that's another reason that you do go with Tig. Is it Tig or Tidge? It's Tidge.
I think it's Tidge.
All right, Tidge Iginla. Tidge. Okay, Tidge.
I'm gonna go the way Craig Button calls him. He calls him Tidge. I'm gonna call him.
Tidge.
Yeah.
I'm gonna call him Atakundle Iginla.
Atakundle Iginla.
If we ever get an interview, what a way to probably piss somebody off, right? Yeah. Is to use that name.
How the hell did you find that, by the way, Harry? I can't. I just googled Tidge Iginla full name. I can't find it.
No. Jerome's
Jerome, not Tidge.
Oh, that's Jerome's full name.
Yeah, it's Jerome Iginla. It's Jerome's full name. Yeah.
If that's his full name, I guarantee he didn't do that to his kids.
I hope not.
He didn't do that to his
Jerome Arthur Lee
Atakundle
Tidge Jr. Elvis Iginla. Holy shit.
Yeah. I can imagine when his firstborn was born. It's like, what's your full name, Jerome? It's like, I'm not putting him through that. Just name him Tidge.
Yeah.
Just pick them off with one.
Yeah, when he learned his full name and then his teacher said, "What did you like to be called?" He went, Fuck it, Jerome.
Yeah. Just
So
go with the
Jerome,
first one.
please.
Go with the first one.
Imagine if he won by Elvis Aginla. Okay. Anaconda
That
Aginla.
would have been Lou's favorite player.
Oh yeah,
Arthur
she'd
Lee
have been
Aginla.
told right there. Elvis, that's the guy I want.
let me ask you this, Rick.
Guaranteed.
Is she a big Elvis Merlikins
I'm gonna
fan?
tell her
then?
about. I'm gonna tell her about it tomorrow. She's gonna love this kid.
Is she a big
Love
Elvis
Cole Caulfield.
Merlikins fan?
She loves Cole Caulfield. Absolutely
Oh,
adores him. When she hears this, she's gonna also love Tidge Ginla after that. Even though it's not his name, but it's his dad's. She's gonna love him for that.
But with the wrap up my point with Tidge, I think that's another reason that you look at him and think, yeah, this kid could make the NHL right away. I don't think he does, but you could argue that could be why he does because of who his dad is and
you know how they say
true.
with these kids that you draft them at 17, 17-year-old kid, you don't know his level of maturity that he's going to grow into, how he's going to handle the NHL. Like, you don't know those things.
Mm-hmm.
I think that with Tidge, it kind of, you don't have to worry about that, not nearly as much, right?
No.
Right.
So that's got to be a big check mark when you're looking and comparing, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and even if you're not drafting Aginla because he's ready now, like they've said 2-3 years in a row, you're not drafting for the best player right away. You're drafting for who the best player is 5-6 years down the road.
Right.
So if Aginla can make the NHL right away, but be the second best player 5-6 years down the line, because nobody's going to be better than Macklin Celebrini. But if he can be the second best player in the draft, I think Montreal can absolutely would run away with Tidge Ginla. If number 4 Columbus comes up and announces anybody other than Tidge Ginla, Montreal's running up that podium while Columbus is making their pick to pick Tidge Ginla.
Yeah. As soon as Columbus announces, Habs are going to go, we're ready.
Pretty much. Oh, yeah. They're going to call 3 timeouts just to piss everybody off.
Yes. I know, that's cool. Who did we talk about? Do we need to talk about Dem? I don't know much about Demidov except what I saw in the highlights. Looks like a great player.
No, he is. I don't really know too much about him. I'll tell you this. I know this. And it kind of pissed Alex off a little bit, but it is true.
Better than Michkov.
Yes.
I believe he's a more well-rounded player than Demidov.
Going to be better than Michkov.
From what I've seen of him,
and I'll tell you why. A lot of the little details that you need at the NHL level and the back checking,
he already has.
Demidov already has that down.
Yeah,
and that set him above Michkov for a lot of scouts and a lot.
I think so. Yeah. It's not to say
we're not offensively. I mean, he's right there in terms of skill and all that. He's right there with Michkov. But he's got the little details already pretty much dialed in his game, and he's got the back checking ability. So I think he'll be a much better all around player than Michkov.
Wise, he may be better too. It's
and
not.
He very well might be.
We don't want people leaving comments that we're knocking Michkov because we're not. We're not knocking Michkov.
No, this is stuff that I've read from scouts that have talked about Demidov, and they do hold him higher than Michkov for that reason. A lot of the little
Michkov was never a top 3 prospect in that draft year.
So that's the reason why you got to figure if Demidov is there, they might take him. But I think all those reasons is why he won't be there.
Right? No, I agree. I think it's going Celebrini, Demidov, and then after that, it's kind of that's when it kind of gets interesting. But
don't write out Levshinov for 2nd overall.
No,
I did a breakdown. No, but I did a breakdown of the 3 teams ahead of us, and what they've picked. Like, I got this from an article.
Yeah,
what they've picked over the last 2 seasons in the first 2 rounds to try to predict where they're going. But I do agree, Chicago. It's going to be either Demidov or Levshinov.
Yep.
And either one's not going to surprise me. But I wouldn't rule out them taking a defenseman because he's the kind of
because they took a lot of forwards.
But he's the kind of defenseman you can really build around. And
he'd be a good partner for Kevin Korchinski.
Right, and they need to do that. They got to build a core there. But I mean, again, you're building a top 6. It's not bad, Bedard and Demidov, right? So it could be either. Like, really, it could be either. But I do think it's one of those 2. Although then again, not going to shock me if it's somebody else in this draft.
Yeah.
But I do really think it's going to be one of those 2 for the 2nd overall pick.
Yeah, I think if the Blackhawks were smart, they would go defenseman, just because it's hard to find a defenseman of that caliber, like a Levshinov or a Silyev. The only issue is he's the same hand as Korchinski, so they won't pick him. But it's hard to find a defenseman that's probably going in the top 3, especially one that's as good as Levshinov's going to be. I'd be really surprised if they pass on him. Again, I won't be shocked if they go Demidov. I think he's the safe, smart pick.
Yeah, they've got 2 really good choices there. So it's going to be one or the other. They're going to have to pass on one, right?
Yeah, and then I think probably
whoever they pass on, Anaheim.
Ducks grab, and then
Anaheim, because I think Anaheim, Verbeek's already come out and said he's looking for that right side defenseman and a right winger or a winger.
Yep.
So he's looking.
Demidov does play both wings.
He's looking for either of those two. So I think whatever he's left with, he's taking.
Yeah, I mean, unless he has high hopes for Zane Perrick, which I'll admit I would love for them to pick Zane Perrick, because that would be absolutely hilarious to see chaos that early in the draft. But smart pick at that point would obviously be Levshinov.
You're right. Perrick could go that high.
Yeah, I've seen scouts rank him as high.
I've seen Yzerman that high.
You're right. Yzerman I've seen also 3rd.
It's nuts. So after the 1st and 2nd pick, it's going to be nuts. So when I'm all here for it,
consensus.
It is going to be a really, really fun draft, and I can't wait. Cannot wait for our live stream for it. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, I think it will be fun. I think it's going to be one of those where, the announcement that's next, you don't know. After celebrating, we don't know what name's going to get called. We may have an idea, but still, we don't know. And I think that makes for a great draft. By the way, we're doing that. We're covering that. If you're watching this, the 28th, it's a Friday night. We're going to be doing that. Harry, I believe, is going to be doing a separate live stream, and you can pick either, but pick one of us. So if it's not here, go to Harry Rice Hockey and check it out there, because you're going to get a good live stream either way.
Yeah. If you have 2 devices, pull us up on both of them. Check out our reactions at the same time if you can.
And if you have 2 devices, you can really keep your wife happy. That's what I understand. Okay. Okay. One last thing I want to say about Beckett Seneke. I don't know a ton about him. I do know he's talented and all that, but you got to admit, guy's got a great name for it. And sometimes you hear these names and you go, and that is the guy. He's got that great hockey name, and he's a good player or a great player. And that's a possibility with that. But I like that name, Beckett Seneke. I don't know why. It rolls off your tongue, and it sounds like a good hockey name.
Yeah.
I think this kid's going to be good. Will they pick him? I don't think so. But, man, I'm not going to be shocked because of Grant McCagg, though. That's why I won't be shocked.
Yeah, I don't know much about him, so I'm just gonna refrain on comment. I don't know enough about him yet.
No, me neither.
But if we're talking about good hockey names, I mean, TJ Kinlett's a pretty good hockey name.
It is very good. That is for sure.
I don't think it's a weird hockey name, but it's a damn great hockey name, pedigree wise, man.
But is it better than his dad's?
That is true.
No, I'm not going to say what I'm going to say. No, it's just I don't want people mad at me. Even though what I was going to say wouldn't have been meant in a bad way, but it would be taken wrong. Let's move on to something we talked about. Not everybody who would be watching tonight watched that episode. I know a lot of people are worried about Arbor Jackey's contract. He's an RFA, needs to be signed before July 2nd in order to avoid completely the possibility of an offer sheet. Offer sheets only are allowed to actually happen after July 2nd and on. I don't know when it stops, but so let's just go over what we all thought they're going to do in Arbor's case. I'll lead off because I'm, as somebody said earlier, I'm the boss. Not, but no. Okay, so
you are the village elder.
What's that?
You are the village elder.
I just have the big ego.
That too.
What I think is going to happen is that it's not even going to come close to them allowing him to have an offer sheet. I don't know.
I don't even think he'd sign it, to be totally honest.
I don't know that he'll sign one. I got into a bit of an argument. I don't know if it was an argument on Twitter. People saying, nah, if he gets somebody offers him $4 million, he's going to sign that. Who wouldn't? He'd be an idiot not to. And here's what I say to that. His character says to me that he might not sign that. Why? If that $4 million that he's pretty sure they'd match hurts the team in the long run in the next few years, I don't see him being the kind of guy that's going to sign that, because I think the team means a lot to him. I'm not worried really about offer sheets. How much are you going to pay Arbor Jackeye to get him and pull him away? Like ridiculous number? Because you'd have to, it would have to be a ridiculous number, 6, 7 million.
It'd have to be KK levels, the $6 million 1 year type deal.
Yeah, it had that 6, 7 million, right?
Yeah.
And who's really going to offer him that? I don't think anybody. Maybe, but I think they're going to sign him before, and I think they offer him a bridge deal of probably 3 times 2.5, no more than that.
Yeah, no, I think that's fair, and I agree. I mean, I think he's a Hab for life. I mean, everything about him, everything he said, the way he acts, like maybe not for life, but at least, I mean, he's a Hab. Like, you know what I mean?
He's a Hab. He's not going anywhere. And they've turned down. I mean, they've gotten calls.
First round picks.
They've gotten calls for him their off season, because it's not officially.
Probably still getting calls for him.
They're getting calls, and he's turning down any offers. I don't know what the offers are. I would imagine they're decent, but he's not going anywhere. So I mean, if they're turning down offers for him, they're going to sign him before an offer sheet can happen.
Mm.
That's what I think.
Yeah, no, I think he's probably, like you said, Rick, probably, I would think, contract comparable. I saw an article about this. I think it was yesterday. It came out. I forget who put it out, but they were comparing the contract that he might get to someone like a Jeremy Lauzon, who I think got 2 years, $3 million. I think that's a very comparable number. I think Jackeye gets more, and the article said it well. I wish I could remember who posted it, because I would be able to give my source. But I think he gets more, Jackeye, because he's broke into the NHL at an earlier age, and he has more offensive potential than Jeremy Lauzon. So I could see 2.5, maybe $3 million, but I think 2.5, 2.75, I think is your cap. I would think a 3-4 year deal.
Yeah, so we're all in the same ballpark. All right.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
All right, let's talk about 2 rumors. I don't know if they're rumors exactly. So Eric Engels, who's a writer, a Habs writer, today I think it was, putting out about the Carolina Hurricanes. Is he a center, Martin Necas?
Martin Necas, yeah. Center.
Yep, center.
Yeah, so he's a free agent after, I guess, July 1st. Apparently, there's 5 teams that are interested to various degrees of interest. And apparently the Habs are one of the teams that have, I guess, inquired as a minimum to what they would be looking for. And also, I think it was Engels that said that for him, the guy he would be going out to get is Sam Bennett. So I thought we'd talk about those guys. And first of all, I mean, do you think Montreal is going to reach out to get a UFA like this? And what do you think of these guys?
Well, I mean, given that you have to trade for either guy, because you're not offer sheeting Martin Necas, and Sam Bennett's a UFA after next year, after 24-25. If you're trading for either of these guys, I think you'd have to go for Necas, just because Bennett, I don't think, would be a guy that Florida wants to get rid of. He is a little pricey, $4.4 million. He's a big physical guy. We've talked about it. He's put up 3 straight 40-point years. All basically 3 straight 20-goal years. He missed 20 games last year. If he played, he gets four more goals needed to hit 20. He's a playoff guy. He's playing great in the playoffs. He got under Boston's skin when he got back in the lineup. Great punch on Marchand that we've all seen by now.
Yeah.
He's a good shit disturber. He'd be a great guy for a third line. I just don't think, again, that Florida really wants to get rid of him. And Marty Necas is basically all but said he wants out of Carolina, which, let's be honest, it took him a little too long to realize he shouldn't be there. But for real, though, Marty Necas.
Isn't that a red flag, like a PLD type of red flag?
No, because
not only does he want out, he said he wants first line minutes and top power play unit.
Well,
Is that
his
dad,
or is that
his dad is coming out and talking for him like this.
Now, is he saying that he wants or that he thinks his son should get that? No, because there's
I don't know. That's a good point and a good question. I don't know the answer.
I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt and assume that's his dad saying that's what he should be getting. I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt there. But even that, if he wants out of Carolina, I completely get why. He was stuck on their second line this past year. Even if he was a winger, I actually think he should have gotten first line minutes, especially considering that's very good. He had a fantastic playoffs, best of his career. He had a great playoffs. But as a pending restricted free agent, you got to think Carolina put him on their second line, not only to bounce out.
He's freezing.
But hey, we don't need to give you as much type of situation or give you a bridge deal or something. I think that with Marty Necas, if he can come to a Montreal and be on a second line, I think that with Doc and Newhook on that second line, you run, say, Newhook, Doc, and Newhook, Necas, Doc. I think you can definitely make that work, and I would not at all be surprised to see the Canadians.
I don't know.
Is that I think the main issue is that you then have three guys who can play center, and you might have to restrict one of them to the third line center spot until Beck comes up, which it's a good issue to have, but I don't see it happening, though. I don't see the Canadians trading the astronomical price the Carolina Hurricanes are going to want for Marty Necas.
Right.
I just don't see it.
And it's Carolina Hurricanes. Are they?
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't really see the Habs dealing with them after the
vacation. That's another thing. Yeah.
I don't even think it's that. I think it's more so Bergevin was there, and it was the Bergevin thing that happened with the offer sheet. I don't think they'd want to. I don't think they would have wanted to deal with Bergevin. I think now that it's new management, they're saying, okay, they offer sheeted our guy, we offer sheeted their guy,
and we lost, and they lost on that one. So maybe they don't want to do that again.
They would have gone 0-2 had they not matched Aho either, which is really funny.
I got a question about Bennett. If Florida wins the Cup this year, you think possibly they could move Bennett?
I think it depends, because if I got to look at their cap friendly real quick. For me, I think it depends because it's kind of well known at this point. Players who win a Stanley Cup, they get that was your point? That's what you were gonna say?
No, but I mean that's right. They get a raise.
Yeah, players who win a cup, they get that pedigree of they're a cup champion. You got to give them more. You look at there's a guy I can't remember. He was a fourth line guy. He got like Blake Coleman when he won the Cup of Tampa. He got $3.5-4 million because he won back-to-back cups with Tampa, or just the one cup. I forget what it was. He got that much
more than that. Didn't he get like 5?
Blake Coleman.
6?
Let me find out really quickly. He got $4.9 million.
Oh yeah, 5. So like I said, 5.
Yeah, basically $5 million. Yeah, he won 2 cups with Tampa actually. So he won the 2 cups and goes to Calgary. Which, to be fair, this year he actually moved up. Calgary. It was Barclay Goodrow. Barclay Goodrow went to the Rangers.
Right.
Yeah.
Barclay Goodrow contract.
Yeah. He went to the Rangers. He got $5 million.
You win.
$3.6 million.
You win a cup or two, you're going to your next contract, you're going to get paid. So
absolutely.
Okay, so it doesn't work against what I asked, actually.
Well, no, it does, because in a way, because you look at it with the Florida Panthers right now, they're spending about $60 million in cap already. They currently have a projected cap space of $20 million. You look at the guys that they have to sign after these playoffs are done. They technically could do them during the playoffs, but after the playoffs. Anton Lundell, Nick Cousins, Ryan Lomberg, Sam Reinhart, Vlad Tarasenko, Josh Mahora. I only say his name because he's an RFA. Oliver Ekman-Larsson, Brendan Montour, and Anthony Stolars. They have some question marks. Stolars, I think, is walking. They're going to run with Bobrovsky and Knight next year. Lindell's going to get a raise. Especially if they win a cup. Lindell's going to get a raise. Cousins is going to get a raise. Reinhardt's going to demand even more.
So it
Tarasenko's
sounds
going to
like
get
you're
a raise.
saying they're not going to be able to afford Bennett when his contract is up.
Yeah, no, I think that they're not going to be able to afford them, which is why I think that, they could maybe look at him being a trade option.
So,
However, the way I see it,
this was the point I was getting at when I said if they win the cup, it might make them actually want to move him because now they've won the cup, so they're not still chasing it, and he's going to be getting a raise, and they got all these other guys to sign. Yeah, I could see Bennett actually being a guy they move on from.
in a way, yes, I think they could. I think they'd rather want to move on from Luosterainen or Rodriguez, who make $1 million less than he does.
Yeah, that's a good point.
The only thing I would see is that Bennett has 1 year left. I don't see why he wouldn't want to re-sign if they were willing to re-sign him. But Rodriguez and Luosterainen each have term. They have 3 years after this season. So I could see them wanting to move Bennett instead just because of that potential risk.
At the deadline, they'd probably be able to move Bennett.
I would think so. The only thing I see is that Florida is a very smart organization, especially recently. They know how to grab guys and get the best out of them.
Yeah.
So I think that if they move Bennett, they'd either want back a guy who they could see being a very cheap replacement, or they get guys to take pay cuts, which I think they could do, especially with them barely having taxes, basically. I think they could get guys like Nick Cousins and Ryan Lohnberg to take pay cuts, who basically could be replacements, especially Cousins. He's a shit disturber, fourth line usually. Ryan Lohnberg's a big shit disturber, more of a grinder, maybe an enforcer. So I could see Bennett being moved. I just think that they have 2 or 3 other guys that they'd rather move instead. And if they move Bennett, like I said, they'd probably want a replacement
but
prospect.
Sometimes it's not just because you want to move a guy doesn't mean that's the guy you can move, though, right?
That is true, yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, Bennett seems like a guy that they'll be able to move and get something for him.
Yeah, I would think so. Like, especially with the playoffs he's having, they can get a second-round pick, definitely.
I'm just saying, I still think Bennett could be a guy that they do trade. So now the question becomes, would Montreal legitimately be interested in him?
I think so, especially if they plan on moving Christian Dvorak in the offseason.
But you're talking about a 7-year deal, because he was going to sign as a free agent at 27. He's going to want a 7-year deal.
Well, no, because Bennett has 1 year left after this season.
Oh, wait. 1 year left after this season.
Yeah, he's signed until the end of 24-25.
Right. So you get him at the deadline, say, right?
All right. Yeah, if we get him at the deadline.
So then you're going to be getting him. If you're going to give up stuff for him, you could probably want to re-sign him. He's going to be looking for 7 years. Probably pretty decent money.
He probably would.
So
with Bennett, though, I think
it's a consideration, but you got to consider a lot of things if you're going to go after a Sam Bennett. And then does he fit in completely age-wise going forward with the group? He's only 27. It's not that old, but still. These are considerations. I'm not asking you to answer that, by the way. These are what I think the considerations are.
No, well, I mean, I don't think it's necessarily about the right age.
No, absolutely.
Give him, I think, a 5-year extension. Even if that contract doesn't necessarily age the greatest, I think that you can work with him as a third-line center going forward. I think that he again, he's a great playoff performer. He's a solid 40-point guy recently.
No, but I said, okay, he's only 27. I didn't say 27 was too old. I'm just saying, he still is 27. Does it fit in with the core age of this young group? I don't know. He's not terribly old, though, 100%.
No, yeah.
How much does he want? What were your plans if you didn't trade for him? How it's like you have to kind of reconsider a lot of things, is what I'm saying, right?
Yeah. Especially if they do win the cup, he's going to want a lot more for sure.
He's going to want more, and he's going to want more no matter what, and then he's going to want like an extra $1 million probably because of that cup win.
Probably, yeah. Especially if they do it this year.
You're looking at a $6.5 million contract probably for Bennett.
More than probably around 6, I would think, because he is a good 40-point guy, consistent 20 goal scorer. So yeah, I think you could argue 5-6
I don't-
mil, especially in the free agency market.
To me, I don't know that that's a smart move though.
No, it wouldn't be, definitely. And I'm not saying that I don't think the Habs would be smart to do that, which is why I think they ultimately would walk away from acquiring Sam Bennett or signing him into free agency.
Yeah,
But then again, it's tough to say that GMs who make bad moves are smarter, because I think sometimes it works out. If you're taking a risk to be a playoff contender, guys like Sam Bennett are guys that you do need. So I completely get why the Habs might want to make a move like that and give him that contract that doesn't age the greatest to help them win a cup. I can definitely see why they would want to do that type of deal.
It's a good point you just made there. 100%. That's a good point. And you know what? Sam Bennett, I believe, is a proven playoff performer.
Yeah, he played great last year. He's had a couple good playoff runs.
Yeah, and you know what? He's that tough, mean kind of play that you kind of need in the playoffs.
Yeah. I mean, if you had him with Jack Eye, the Jack Eye brothers, with both Jack Eyes. And...
Well, that's a good point. Like, there's guys in the system that you got to think, is it worth signing a guy like Bennett for 7-8 years? To extend him. When you've got other guys like that, I don't know. I would have to think it's a consideration you have to make.
But you also got to think. I mean, Slav's extension kicks in a couple of years.
Who's talking? I heard somebody talking.
I was letting you guys.
Oh, it's Matt. I'm sorry.
No, but if you're thinking long-term deals, I mean, I think Slav's due for his big boy deal in I think a year or two, right? So
let's see. When did he sign his
22?
1, 2. This season coming is his last year of the ELC. I didn't say that right.
And I mean, he's getting an 8-year deal.
Yeah, you got to think. I mean, they're not.
So, depending on how he does the season, right? That's probably going to be a $5-6 million deal.
He could get a bridge deal.
I mean, if he puts up 70 points this season, I don't think he's getting a bridge deal.
You can't give him a bridge deal then. Yeah, definitely.
I don't know. Okay, maybe you're right.
I mean, there's the outside possibility, but the smart move would be lock him up.
Oh, yeah, no, I'm not saying – no, you're right. You're right. But, I mean, I'm just thinking of – I don't know in advance all the contracts. They got to – I don't know everything to say that for sure.
I mean, none of us really do.
Right, but so, I mean, a bridge deal is not totally out of the question.
No, but I mean, if he gets to 70 points, he's not getting a fucking bridge deal.
No,
he's getting an 8x8.
To be fair, I think the second July 1st, I think this midnight July 1st, they're calling Slav, asking him what he wants. I think they're got to be starting contract negotiations as soon as they can.
Oh yeah, they're gonna extend him at some point in the next year. After once July 1st hits.
I'm gonna say next 6 months on. I'm gonna be a little risky. I'm gonna say
they might want to wait till the season starts just to make sure. But I mean, look at the World Championship. I don't think there's much to
look at the end of the season yet.
Yeah, I don't think there's much to worry about. They'll be, and I think he'll be an easy negotiation, to be honest.
Yeah. It's hey, look, give me $7.5 million, give me an 8-year deal, I'll be fine. I don't need to be filthy rich, just make me rich.
And at his age too, he's gonna have another rich contract after that.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Which would be really smart if he were to if he realized that, hey, I'm 20, 21, I signed till I'm 28, I can get another 8-year deal after that. Oh yeah, I'll take this.
Yeah, for sure. He'll get another 8-year deal. For sure he will.
3-0 Panthers.
3-0 Panthers?
Yeah.
Go Panthers, because I got Panthers over Rangers.
Yes, sir.
That's for sure.
Hey, all right. What happened to your perfect bracket?
Actually, now that but it's a good segue. Round 3 predictions. What are the series?
It's about to be 1-0.
New York Rangers and Florida Panthers.
Right. So we're down to 2.
Yep. 2 series.
I'm gonna just go with what's in my bracket. So I've got Dallas meeting Florida. So Dallas beating I said meeting, not beating. Dallas beating Edmonton and Florida beating New York.
Yeah, I mean, I think Dallas is beating Edmonton. I just don't think Edmonton's got a deep enough team to kind of overcome that. And I think it's honestly kind of pretty unanimous. I think a lot of people have Dallas over Edmonton.
Oh God, they have they're like the favorite.
Yeah,
like a little bit over.
And they should be.
Like that's insane that they're the New York and Edmonton are the favorites to win. I don't get it, but apparently that's what the odds make.
I mean, I think honestly, like the new Rangers Panthers series, I think could go 7 games. I really do. I mean, obviously, like we know the Panthers are smoking them right now, but I think Shesterkin's that good that he can maybe steal a game or two. I think Florida wins. I just think Florida's a little bit bigger team. I think they're again, they have guys that do that shithousery and get under their opponent's skin. Also the President's Trophy curse is still in play with the Rangers. So,
right.
I'm with you, Rick. I got Florida and Dallas, and I'll go a step further. I got Florida winning the cup.
Yep, me too.
Yeah, Matt's got that right. Yeah, I got Florida, Dallas, and Florida winning the cup too.
We're all in agreement. Look at that.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
That's going to do us for the week. We want to thank everybody for watching us. Again, we really appreciate that. If you liked it, give a thumbs up. If you have any comments, leave comment in the comment section. Or if you're listening to this on Spotify, get in touch with us through our email at gmx.com. talkinghabs@gmx.com. And you can give us any suggestions, anything you want. You can reach us that way. We'll be back. We should be back next week where we'll talk a little bit more about round 3 because there'll actually be some games done. And I don't know. We'll figure out what to talk about. So hopefully you guys will join us for that. Once again, thanks for watching. Till that time, stay safe out there and peace out. And we're going to take off. Have a great evening. Hey, everybody. Ciao. Bye.
Have a good night, peeps.
Have a good night, everybody.